Love, passion, romance. It's almost February, and that means Valentine's Day is just around the corner. And for most women and many men, it conjures up images of love and swept away passion and all the beautiful things involved in a relationship and finding that perfect partner. But if you've been hurt in the past, do you really believe that that's possible? Do you really believe in the fairy tale romance that you can find your perfect partner and live happily ever after? Most of us believe that at some point, and I'm still holding out for something sacred and beautiful. But there's a pandemic, and there's all kinds of other issues happening right now. So, right now is a really, really good time to figure out in love, what do you want? How do you want it? And how are you going to get it when the time is right to pursue that? So, I want to talk about love tonight. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, and this is Boss Up Goddess, where I help you learn ways to live bigger, better, and bolder by bossing up to become the goddess that you were meant to be. And by goddess, I mean a strong woman in mind, body, and spirit, living her life on purpose in a way that's a positive and powerful influence on yourself and the people around you and the world if you so desire. So for me, bossing up means expressing my ideas in writing. And that's why I've written 35 books, some of which I've written for our clients that we write books for. And we're celebrating 5 years in business and 27 books later with 8 more on the horizon. But in the interim, I've written a lot of novels, many of which are romantic thrillers, or I wrote an erotic trilogy called Husbands Incorporated. And for me, it captures some of my viewpoints about marriage, monogamy, relationships, love, self esteem, self worth, and all the ways that these issues tie together when you come with some, when you, when you combine your heart with someone else, when you fuse all of your issues with someone in a relationship. And so I want to start with this beautiful scene where Venus Roman, the main character of the book, meets this beautiful man who stirs something in her soul, sets her on fire from the inside out. And it's so beautiful. But she's not trying to feel it because she was married to a prominent man, and she had the white picket fence. She had the big white dress. She believed in the happily ever after. She forfeited her career for his. She was the perfect wife. And after many years, he was cheating and doing all kinds of other things, ignoring her and her needs. And she divorced him. And with her friend Ray Johnson, she started a company called Husbands Incorporated, where women can get real legal marriages that last 1 year. And after 1 year, they can get a quickie divorce in the U.S. territory of Guam, which is only requires 7 days residency to get a divorce. And they have this sort of honeymoon at the end of the 1 year on Guam, which is beautiful. And then they come back to Husbands Incorporated, which is headquartered in Detroit but has franchises around the world. And they pick a new husband for the next year, and it's legal. And the men are trained to fulfill each woman's absolute fantasy. So if you are looking to be married to a rock star, he is going to be trained to be a rock star, the way he talks, walks, acts, sings, performs. If you want a banker, you're going to get the pinstripe guy. If you want a hip hop dude, you're going to get that. If you want a baseball player, a football player, if you want a boy toy, whatever it is you're seeking, there will be a man literally trained in the acting academy at Husbands Incorporated to serve as your perfect man, your perfect husband. And in the bedroom, the men are trained to satisfy, period, above and beyond all standards of normalcy. Because these women are not trying to play around anymore. They are serious. They want the power and the pleasure in the relationships. And so Venus Roman and Ray Johnson best friends. One's white, one's black, multiracial, multicultural cast of characters here, all ages, all backgrounds, you know, beautiful cornucopia of humanity represented in the men and women in this story. There's even one couple that's a lesbian couple, and their union creates some of the conflict in the heterosexual marriage that one of them has to have. And so it's a really hot story. It's got a hot language and really captivating, suspenseful scenes, and there's revenge and all kinds of good stuff. So Venus and Ray have been played like March Madness, they say, and they're not going to get played again. So they think monogamy is a myth, and they think that true love is a lie. But then they meet Rex and Buck. And when they meet Rex and Buck, those two men who are physically gorgeous, intellectually robust, and spiritually grounded, each of those men are trying to convince Venus and Ray that yes, true love, a soulmate, truly is real and exists and can create that sacred relationship, that sacred bond, if only they will believe it. So Venus is all about the business, and Venus is all about helping these women who've come from all around the world to get their husband and start their franchise. And that's when she takes the group of women for an outing that evening to the opera. And when she's at the opera that night, she's looking down as the usher takes her ticket to go into her private box overlooking the opera. And then she looks up at him, and that's when the magic happens. And that's what I'm going to share with you right now, because even in the midst of this absolute cynicism and disbelief in sacred true love, Venus has a magic moment. And I'm going to share it with you because I believe this can happen, and it'll happen when you least expect it. And that's what makes it all the more magical. So, this is Husbands Incorporated. Our business is your pleasure. And I wrote it under my pen name, Sasha Maxwell. That's me. All right. So, they are at the opera, and she didn't really look. She was just looking down, handing them the ticket, right? And then she looks up. His eyes blazed at her. His unblinking stare radiated disbelief, awe, and captivation. His lips parted. He looked like his breath was caught in his throat, like he wanted to speak but was stunned into stillness and silence. Exactly as I feel. Oh my God, she thought. Electricity crackled from her head to her toes. Goosebumps danced over her skin. An odd sensation fluttered inside her chest, like a huge flower was suddenly blooming. A tone, like her ears were ringing, muted the chatter around them. Everything seemed to fade to gray in contrast to this technicolor masterpiece of male perfection. But he was far more than gorgeous. Venus could not look away at this man's gaze as he devoured her. She closed her eyes, but she still saw his face, and she felt him. Her entire being was saturated with a deep knowing. He's mine forever. Venus opened her eyes and laughed. He was awestruck, studying her. The tiny spokes and textures of his irises were spinning like a kaleidoscope of gold, topaz, bronze, and copper, creating a new, marvelous vision for her to behold with each second as he gazed with almost supernatural intensity. A delightful chill tickled her skin, yet she suddenly felt hot, and she saw flashes of gold. It was subtle, almost subliminal, but it was there in her periphery, around him, around us. She shivered. overwhelmed with the feeling that their individual energy was fusing into a force field that made the air sparkle around them. She felt like some invisible part of herself had plugged into him and was jolting her with a new sensation, a power that she had never felt. And the way the corner of his mouth kept trying to raise up in a smile, and his eyes glimmered as he glanced at her, made it clear that he was plugged in and sparking like a live wire as well. Good heavens, she thought, what in the world is happening? Well, what's happening to this absolute boss goddess is that she just met her truest love, this beautiful, heart centered, spirit grounded, wonderful man who wants to love her like no one's loved her before. But she's very resistant because she started a company based on the opposite belief. And she's sharing that company with women around the world. So, my message to you tonight on Boss Up Goddess is you have the power to craft the type of love, the type of experience, romance, relationship that you desire. I wrote about my visions for it because I believe that we're presented with this construct of heterosexual monogamy, period. That's how it's supposed to be. And the 50% divorce rate shows that that's not realistic. And the top reason for the divorce rate is adultery, which is sex, because people want variety, people want adventure and excitement. And for some reason, the big white wedding doesn't r- sustain the type of passion and excitement that people are seeking, I guess. Well, the bottom line is something's broken in the system. And fortunately, many people are crafting their own. Polyamory is very popular. People are just deciding to do relationships their way, and that's awesome. However, many women are still extremely terrified to really live in love as we truly desire on our own terms. We're so afraid of all of the criticism, rejection, scorn, name calling that doesn't apply to men, reputations that can face consequences. All types of dynamics keep us in check, so to speak. There's that term slut shaming, where, it doesn't exist for men, but women who are free in their sexuality can be um, shamed, and it can manifest in every level of their life to tremendous detriment. And so the fear of that happening keeps many women in a box trying to conform to society's standards that are not really the optimum way to blossom and live in love as the woman, goddess, boss that you are. So, my message in reading this and talking about love tonight, as I'm going to be talking about throughout the month of February, when the Valentine's Day phenomenon is in full effect, and makes many people who aren't coupled up feel alone or less than or all kinds of emotions. Maybe it makes you feel relieved that you don't have to participate. Whatever it is, my mission is to help you boss up to create the type of life on every level that you want, that comes from your heart, soul, and authentic self. And love for yourself, love for another person, love for multiple people is all about the way you envision it, the way you crave it and yearn for it. And you have the power to do that. I think it's really, really awesome during the pandemic, if you're alone, to really look within yourself and say, what do I want? Yes, it's important to examine the pains of the past, the failures of the past, but it's also very important to heal and release that and not carry it forward. Because when we do meet that sacred person, when we do meet that relationship, that situation that's ideal for us, and it could very well be someone from the past, we have to step to that healed and releasing all the pain and wounds that we've had from past experiences. Hopefully, if you do reconnect with somebody from the past, they've been doing the work on him or herself as well, so that together you two can come together in a healed manner and whatever issues were plaguing you in the past are resolved. However, if you do the work on yourself during the pandemic, the healing, the releasing, the exploring, the understanding the root causes of any insecurities or distrust. Very important to connect with somebody who again has done the work. If someone hasn't, you're only facing a repeat of the problems. So that should be avoided at all costs. However, if somebody has been doing the work, how beautiful could that be if the two of you come together as healed individuals and create something entirely new? That's really the ideal because you have time and energy and love invested in that person. You just want to create something new with whatever broke you up in the past, healed and resolved. And if you're looking afresh to meet someone new, you want to have done the work on yourself to understand your past, to know your pain points in relationships, maybe trust issues, or really terrified that the things that happened in the past could be repeated. Understand what those things are and do really hard work to heal them so that when you do meet that person, you are all new. You are healed. You are strong. You are confident stepping forward into this union to create something magical and unprecedented. How would that be? That sounds amazing. And guess what? The pandemic is going to end. The 1918 pandemic, and they didn't even have immunizations back then. It ended. And then it was the roaring 20s. So, what if our pandemic ends just as quickly as it freaking started and shut everything down? What if it ends and everything opens back up? Who are you going to be? Who are you going to love? How are you going to love? The roaring 2020s, party time. Time to love, time to have adventures, time to experience the wildest desires of our hearts. Don't you want to boss up to yourself first and be that powerful, healed, confident person who can step up and out into any relationship in any format we desire and just live and love with infinite potential? Well, that's why I've been watching videos of excursions to overwater bungalows in Bora Bora. There's all these amazing couples on YouTube who do this, and they go to these overwater bungalows, which is a dream of mine, and they just vlog about it. They show you everything involved. They tell you how much it costs and all the things you can do there and what the requirements are and all the amenities, and they show you doing it, and it's just awesome. So I'm going to be living large like that after all this is over. So what are you going to do? And if you want to do it with a partner, you want to have that person who's done the work and healed him or herself while you're doing the same during the shutdown, the stay at home, stay safe, stay healthy. So when this is over, you can step up and out and just live with like the wildest, most fantastical, adventurous, romantic, passionate, unbelievable, indescribable, infinite pleasure, joy, and love imaginable or unimaginable. Oh, I feel excited just talking about it. So it's time to boss up to ourselves and be the goddesses that we are meant to be as powerful women in mind, body, and spirit. And that means examining the pains of the past as it pertains to love as we enter this annual season of romance and red and pink hearts everywhere. It's a little different this year because people probably won't be packing into restaurants and hotels and such for the traditional Valentine's Day experiences. Things are opening up in my state, so hopefully they are where you are as well. So whatever you do, I hope you have a great time, but please continue to use this time during the pandemic, stay at home experience to really explore yourself. And if you're not in a relationship, really, really do a deep dive on yourself. What is love for me? What do I want? How can I heal and not step forward carrying all that awful baggage of the past into my now and future? And how can I attract that perfect person for me? That sacred union, that fusion that makes you feel like Venus felt when she met Rex. And let me tell you how hot that's going to be, okay? You got to read the book. I'll put the link in the description box. It's really, really good. But it's not just hot and sexy, it's also very intelligent because I present my philosophies about relationships, love, marriage, monogamy. Um, and also, it's all rooted in yourself. It all starts with you. So now's the time to do that work. If you have trust issues, what are they? If you have insecurities, what are they? If you don't think you're, physically the right look or size or shape or whatever, how can you do whatever work on yourself first in your mind to say, yes, I am enough. I am beautiful. I am good. I'm great. Whatever you need to do that. When we compare, we despair. And so don't compare. Know that you are a goddess and you come to the table with so many gifts and talents. And there is someone out there just like you who will love all those things about you, those unique eccentricities, those quirks. That's what makes us special. We don't want to be just like everybody else. We want to be our unique, authentic selves. And that is what will attract an authentic person. Because when we meet that person, we want to see the real man or woman. We want to see who they really are, not some poseur who's just trying to, showboat and impress you because the mask will come off. And what if you don't like it? So the more authentic you are, the more authentically you're going to attract a mate. Okay, I'm not a relationship therapist or anything like that. I just know what I want and what I don't want. And I love to write about relationships, love, passion, and all the possibilities. So the time is now for us as women to understand ourselves, love ourselves to overflow, and then know what we want and how we want it, not just accept whatever comes along. No, know what we want and how we want it, not repeat the patterns of the past that didn't work out, but to move forward with this new self empowerment. And that's when we allow our authentic goddess within to shine as brightly as possible. And when you meet that person who's going to make you shine even brighter, the two of you truly can together light up the world. All right, then. That's my speech on love tonight. Love and all its many intricacies. Please read my book, Husbands Incorporated, Our Business is Your Pleasure, by my pen name, Sasha Maxwell. And this is the first in the Husbands Incorporated trilogy. So I hope that you have found some inspiration in this talk this evening on Boss Up Goddess, because my mission is to help you awaken that power within yourself and apply it to create your best life ever. The possibilities are infinite, It's just up to us to know that and take action on it and live it, love it. Maybe someday I'll see you in the next bungalow when we're in Bali or Bora Bora. Be like, "Hey, saw your show, read your book. Hey, love, took your advice." Okay, I hope you're having a fun Saturday night because I sure am, and I'm all by myself. Thanks for joining me. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins, and here on Boss Up Goddess, it's my mission to help you awaken to that goddess power and boss up to the greatest life possible, living all your infinite potential. Please do like, share, subscribe, comment. Tell me what you think about this. Love, relationships, marriage, monogamy, overwater bungalows in Bali or Bora Bora or Fiji. Have you been there? Tell me about it. All right, click the notification bell so you'll know every time I go live or upload a new video. Meanwhile, boss up, goddess. You have the power. I'll see you next time.